Hello, beautiful beings of planet Earth and beyond. Welcome to another video on the channel of Ancient Ascension. My name is Paula, and I created this channel to take you along with me on my journey of living in Ecuador in the Andes Mountains, of working in the realm of shamanism and the plant medicine realm. And I recently got back from the United States. I had to take a trip there to earn some more money in order to allow me to still be living this life that I love to live down here in Ecuador, because as much as I love the plant medicine world and the shamanic world, we're still existing in a 3D reality that requires money. And I just got back from the States. I'm so happy to be back in the Andes Mountains, back in Ecuador, but I wanted to make this video if some of you are feeling overwhelmed at this time. No matter where you're living on this planet, whether it's a first world country or not, United States or Canada or Australia. I know some of you are coming from all over the world tuning in, but if you're feeling overwhelmed in your life, in what to do next, in existing as a human being on planet Earth, I want to remind you that you are not alone. You are not alone. I am extremely overwhelmed at this time. There is so much polarity occurring on this planet within our own lives and the outside world, and it is very overwhelming. Very overwhelming. When I was in the States, it seemed like all the conversations, all the media topics were about the election, Trump or Kamala, or it was about P. Diddy and what's happening with him. And it just seemed like so much noise, so much distraction, so much random information being spewed across the media. And that was overwhelming in and of itself. And while I was gone, while all this election stuff is happening, while this stuff with P. Diddy is just randomly coming out and someone is deciding that it's time for it to come out, at the same time, large mass amounts of the Amazon rainforests are being burned. They're being burned by human beings for agriculture, for cattle. And the only way that I knew about that information is because I follow certain people on social media channels that are doing good work for the Amazon. I never once saw that on the main media news channels, even the South American ones or the North American ones. And I thought that was so interesting. Like, here we are, the world is focusing on P. Diddy, the world is obviously focusing on the election. Meanwhile, at the same time, our precious Amazon rainforest is being burned in mass amounts by human beings for money, basically. And that was super overwhelming to me to see that and see no major media covering it, to know that it was occurring as I was working in the States. And all of that in and of itself was very overwhelming to me. It seems like there's so much news, there's so much noise. A lot of the main news that's being shared is not even that important, in my opinion. The Amazon rainforest is burning, is getting extremely dry, and I see that place as the lungs of the world. The Amazon rainforest is extremely important for all of us, whether we live down there or we live on the other side of the world. It's one of the main parts of the world that keeps our atmosphere clean, that keeps our atmosphere livable. And for that to not be on any major news, and it was almost like it was happening in secret, just blows my mind. It just blows my mind. And it just seems like there's so much noise happening. It just seems like all the news that's being put out is extremely chaotic, and it's extremely polarizing. It's extremely polarizing, and it feels like it's trying to tear ourselves into different directions, which obviously most of us know. Separation is a huge thing that is a part of humanity, but it doesn't have to be, right? It's like these agendas are separating people to have one opinion, to have another, and to not be able to come together in unison. And I returned to Ecuador from the States, you know, being blasted by the noise of the election and this P. Diddy thing, and just the world there is extremely different. And I love the United States so much, but it's a whole nother lifestyle than the one here in Ecuador. And I returned here to Ecuador to find that there are millions of people having their water shut off and having their power shut off, which if you don't live in Ecuador or in South America, you probably aren't aware that we have been in a major drought, and most of the electricity here in this country is powered by hydro. It's powered by water. So without rain, without water, there is no power. And I come back to this country where there's millions of people with their water being shut off and their power being shut off, including me. Yesterday, I had zero water coming into my house and zero power for a long time, over 8 hours of the day. And that's extremely chaotic as well. And, you know, it's something that I can roll with here in Ecuador because it's not a first world country and I'm choosing to live here, and it is what it is, basically. And to go from a country that is like the epitome of abundance, you know, the United States, like where you have everything at your fingertips at any time. If you want something, it can be delivered to your doorstep in 2 days, you know. And I come back to this place that I've learned to love and call my home. And all of these people were all without water and power, which is a huge polarity between these two worlds. And it's like that across the world, right? Like some people have it all. Some people are just really grateful when their water's on in their house. And when I returned, I had this conversation with my partner where it feels like, you know, power's being shut off, water's being shut off, the Amazon is burning, we're in a drought, you know, the United States is focused on the election, everything is insanely expensive in the United States, and there's all this polarity occurring within the world, and each of us individuals are just expected to carry on like everything's normal. Like we're supposed to just carry on and continue to think, okay, you know, let's hustle, let's make our money, let's be successful. And 100% that's a part of this world at this time and being alive as a human. But it's like, it almost feels like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Our precious Amazon is burning for money, which is something that, you know, the Amazon and its value is beyond any monetary value, but some people obviously don't see it that way. And just supposed to be carrying on as normal, as there's no power, as there's no water, you know, as all of this noise is coming out, all this distraction, everything's so expensive no matter where you live. And that's hard. It's like, it's extremely overwhelming to have all this chaos, all this sadness, all this destruction happening in the world. And each of us are expected to just carry on like nothing's wrong. Like we're just going to go after our dreams and just continue hustling, continue focusing on making the dollar. And it's just feeling like something is not aligning. Something is not aligning. So I just wanted to share that bit about where I'm coming from in this video so that you can kind of understand what I mean by feeling overwhelmed, you know, with the prices of everything, with, you know, no matter where you live, there's overwhelming things happening in this world, you know, trying to have enough jobs to support, trying to have the job that you love, that makes your spirit happy, all the while providing you with the money that you require to live the way you want to live. It's a lot. It's a lot. And, you know, my partner and I were talking about it feels like we have everything and nothing at the same time. And when we said that, I was like, wow, that is like the epitome of how it feels right now at this time in it's about to be October 2024, having everything, having a home, having a bed, having family, having everything that I love in this life, having all of those things, but at the same time, feeling like we don't have enough, feeling like, we don't have water, we don't have power. It's like you can have everything and nothing at the same time. And I feel like no matter where you live, we can all kind of resonate with that feeling, like I have so much richness, I have so much abundance in my life, but at the same time, I feel like I don't have enough. I feel like I don't have what I truly want. And that can be overwhelming. That can be extremely overwhelming. So I just wanted to make this video to let you know that if you're feeling very overwhelmed, you're probably in the right place. That means that you're feeling all the things that you need to feel. It means that you're seeing this world and what's at play in this reality for what it is. And if we're feeling extremely overwhelmed, what can we do? And my advice is a couple things. At this time especially, I'm feeling that we can all truly give ourselves permission to let go. Truly give ourselves permission to release all the things we can't control, to release all the parts of us that we need to shed, to release all the energies that are still within us, that are holding us back, to release all that low vibrational frequency that is still stuck to us. I feel that we are truly in a time of purging. We are in a huge shift where our consciousness is rising within each individual and we're seeing things differently. We're seeing things more clearly. And the biggest thing that I am finding that I constantly need to remind myself to release is the control, is this feeling that I need to know and I need to see a clear pathway forward. The more that I feel that I actually step onto my soul's, my spirit's most authentic pathway, most sacred pathway, not the pathway that society has laid out before me, but my true, soul's journey as Paula in this lifetime, the more I anchor into that, the less I can see a clear way forward. The less I can see that perfect line and that perfect plan and that perfect path, because I'm living in presence. I'm living in trust. I'm living in knowing that I'm showing up to myself, and this universe, this life, the Great Spirit is going to show up to me back. And I think that's kind of the energy that a lot of us are falling into, is releasing that need to know, releasing that need to control. And, if you feel like you're stuck and you feel like you can't release, remember how powerful affirmations can be. Sometimes when I'm in the shower with the spirit of the water, I will say, I'll take a few deep breaths and I'll say, I am ready to finally release all the parts of me that are living in fear. I am ready to finally release all the parts of me that are living in fear. Or I will state that I am ready for the next step of my mission. I am ready for the next step of my mission. When we state those things, it's like letting our energy know, letting this universe know, letting our spirit guides know, like I am ready. So start to take me in that process of truly releasing those things, or start to take me in that process of showing me the next step of my mission. It works amazingly, but just know that if you're truly going to state those things and you're really going to feel those things, like I am ready for the next step. Truly make sure you feel that you are ready, because typically when we state those affirmations and we're calling out to this universe, like I'm ready, that's going to bring on a whole process into our lives. So just know that, like if you say that you're ready, and you're still carrying around this low vibrational energy, know that this life and this universe is going to push you through a process for you to truly, truly shed those low vibrational frequencies. That's one of the best things that I believe that we can do right now is give ourselves permission to let go, to let go, let go. Let go of the control, let go of the need to know. Also, of course, at this time, we can really choose what narratives that we are choosing to listen to. We can choose to turn on the mainstream media, to turn on the mainstream news, and take all of that in as truth. We can choose to do that. We can choose to see, anything that we listen to, the news outlets on social media, the actual news on the television, or other news sources like the ones that I listen to about what's truly occurring in the Amazon from small, content creators who are actually doing good work. And I can choose to see that more as the truth than other reasons that the Amazon may be burning. And it's my choice. It's my choice on what I choose to listen to. And we always have to remember that our awareness, what we're listening to, what we put our attention on, has a lot of impact on our lives. So always remember that and notice that if you're watching certain content, if you're consuming certain news outlets, notice how it makes you feel. Notice how it makes you feel. If it makes you feel fearful, if it makes you feel scared, if it makes you feel overwhelmed, if it makes you feel confused, maybe stop watching that for a little bit and see if it helps, for you to stop consuming that kind of narrative. Because the way we view our life, the way that we view this reality, it's all within our own narrative. It's in our own perspective. And we all have the control to rewrite that narrative, rewrite that perspective into one that is uplifting, that's empowering, that's an adventure, that is a quest, instead of some mundane life and this narrative that's really sad and really fucked up and all those things. And of course, we can all lean deeper into trust. I think that goes with the letting go, the need to control. We have to trust. We have to trust first in ourselves. We have to trust that we each have the ability to create the life of our dreams, that we have the ability as a species to live a better way, to not feel so confused, to not feel like this world is so fear-based. And we have to know that when we have to trust ourselves in that way. That's a huge one. The more that I walk forward on my pathway of my spirit and feeling so aligned with what my spirit wants, even though what my spirit wants is down here in South America, working with shamans, helping people heal, which is so, doesn't really exactly fit into this 3D world and the mold that my mind thinks that I should walk. The more I lean into that path and trust it, I trust, the deeper my life experiences go, the happier I feel. The more unsure I am, though, about where my next move is, but the more I learn how to know that the right opportunities are going to arise at the perfect time, that I have been showing up to myself in the way that my spirit requires me to. So always trusting in ourselves, and trusting in the overwhelm. If we feel overwhelmed, we need to trust in that feeling and take a step back and really start to honor that feeling of overwhelm. Also, I think this will be my last piece of advice, possibly, is that right now, with all the polarity, with all of the overwhelm, with all the confusion, with all the news and all the, outside noise, this is one of the best times in our lives where we can truly dream big. We can really start to anchor into ourselves. Stop spewing our energy and leaking our energy into the outside world, but start to gather and center ourselves and start to dream big. Start to dream big. Start to seriously think about what you feel you can create in this life. Start to feel and tap into the emotions and the feelings of what it would feel like to be aligned on your spirit's path, on the path that makes your spirit sing, that makes you feel like you're doing the work that your soul wants to be doing here, or existing the way that your soul wants to exist here. And start to imagine, start to feel with no boundaries in place, with no like thoughts tied to those dreams of like, this is how I'm going to get there. Just dream it. Just dream it. Dream it for the individual, for yourself, and dream it for the collective. Envision what you see, the collective, the human species, like what you see for us, how you see we can exist, what is possible, what's lying in the imagination, what kind of world can we live in? Because right now, with how polarizing everything is, with how confusing everything can be, is the perfect time to create and anchor into your own timeline. Because right now, it's like all timelines are shifting. Like, every day is something else. Which means anything is possible. Anything is possible, especially right now, because nothing really seems to be written in stone. Nothing really seems to be clear. Nothing seems to be known, which is actually an amazing, beautiful place to be. That's amazing. I would much rather live in this time on planet Earth where it's like, what's going on? Like, what's going to happen next? Like, I don't even understand what to do next. What are we going to do as a collective next? That's the best place to be in compared to this is what's next. All the steps are laid out. We can see the clear path forward. When we don't see that clarity, when we feel overwhelmed, when we're wondering what is right, the beautiful part about that is that we get to decide. We each get to decide what's next. We get to envision what's next. We get to play with the ideas and what's possible for what's next, especially right now. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, you are not alone. You're not alone. In fact, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. You are paying attention to all the right things. You are having more awareness of what's really going on planet Earth. And I can just say, remember to trust yourself. Remember to trust in how provided for you've been since day one. And remember to trust in the fact that you will always be provided for until your last breath and beyond. And all I can say is remember to allow yourself to be in this process of letting go. Allow yourself to truly shed and leave behind that old chapter, that chapter that we're all closing right now. And allow yourself to be fully immersed in this purging process that humanity is going through and, in my opinion, will probably be going through for the next 4 years. So take it slow. Be kind to yourself. Remember to give your nervous system a hug. Remember to take the time that you need to relax, to come back to your center. Meditation, journaling, yoga, breath work, making art. Anything that allows you to dive into the energies that are going on inside of you. Careful not to leak your energy into the outside world, and know that this is an extremely powerful time for you to dream big. Thank you so much for watching. Remember how sacred you are. Remember how blessed you are. Until next time, keep dreaming big.